This world that you and I live in can be both beautiful and brutal in what seems to be the very same breath. Happiness is often courted by tragedy. Laughter and tears are like two companions trying to make their way through life. With the joy of a new life coming into the world, the grief of loss with the exit of a loved one and death seems almost to partner such emotions. Basically, life can be tough. But all of this is nothing new. Life has always been that way. Life has always been difficult and tough. One of my favorite Bible authors is King Solomon. Poetically, he said this about the challenge that you and I and every person faces as we journey through life. Listen to his words from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. You'll know it well. He writes, "There is an occasion for everything, and a time for every activity under heaven, a time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to avoid embracing, a time to search and a time to count as lost, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." The teacher, as he is known to us, he writes these comments after his people, the Hebrews, God's chosen people, have returned from being exiled in Babylon. And according to the thinking of Solomon, his people, God's chosen people, are letting their thoughts of life and death and the entire existence of humanity come before their following of God. They're putting things like issues of life challenges, hurts, fears, joys, laughter, all these things that make up what we value as life. They're putting all of this before their following, their pursuing of God. But as they do so, the teacher attempts to remind them how easy it is to forget the God of all things, the God of their deliverance, the God who will give them a future and who's given them an eternal hope. So the teacher continues to write in verses 9 to 14 these words in his texts that we can take advantage of as well. He writes, "What does the worker gain from his struggles? I have seen the task that God has given the children of Adam to keep them occupied. He has made everything appropriate in its time. He has also put eternity in their hearts, but no one can discover the work God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and enjoy the good life. It is also the gift of God whenever anyone eats, drinks, and enjoys all his efforts. I know that everything God does will last forever. There is no adding to it or taking from it. God works so that people will be in awe of him." As you and I continue today on this journey of life, it seems like we need a guide, like we need a shepherd, like we need someone to lead us, someone to protect us, and to walk us safely through this rocky path that we call life, to take us to the good pasture. We need the good shepherd, none other than Jesus Christ himself. Only he can take us safely home. Only he can walk us through the milieu that is life. He knows us, and we know him. So in every time of life, listen to him, follow his directions, and let him lead us to that worshipful place today of living in awe of our great God, just like Solomon suggested we need to do.